What kind of grandmother keeps a deadly secret behind her gentle smile? Meet Caroline Grills, Nanny Doss, and Leonarda Cianciulli, the murderous grannies who left behind a trail of bloodshed. First, Nanny Doss, known to the world as the giggling granny. Behind her cheerful smile and seemingly kind demeanor was a woman with a deadly motive. Born in 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama, Nanny married 5 times. She poisoned 4 of her husbands, blaming their deaths on everything from heart attacks to food poisoning. But it didn't stop there. She murdered her own children, grandchildren, her mother, and even a nephew, all for financial gain or, as she claimed, to seek happiness. Despite her grisly actions, Nanny remained calm, laughing during her confessions as if she had no remorse. Her smile would haunt the investigators who realized they were dealing with a true psychopath. She pled guilty in 1955 and was sentenced to life imprisonment. Next, we travel to Australia, where Caroline Grills earned the chilling nickname Aunt Thally because her weapon of choice was thallium, a deadly poison. Grills seemed like a typical grandmother, knitting and baking cookies for her loved ones. But this elderly woman had a sinister hobby, slowly poisoning family members, friends, and even her in-laws. Caroline was always present, comforting her victims as they succumbed to agonizing deaths. It wasn't until a series of sudden illnesses and deaths raised suspicions that authorities realized she was responsible. She appeared in court charged with 4 murders and 3 attempted murders. She was sentenced to death, but it was later changed to life in prison. Finally, we turn to Italy's soap maker of correggio, Leonarda Cianciulli. Leonarda's story is perhaps the most twisted of all. Cianciulli learned that her eldest son was going to join the Royal Italian Army in preparation for the Second World War. She was determined to protect him at all costs and came to the conclusion that his safety required human sacrifices. Cianciulli found her victims in 3 middle-aged women, all neighbors. The first victim was Faustina Setti. She killed her with an axe and dragged the body into a closet, where she cut it into 9 parts. Cianciulli described what happened next in her official statement. I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and stirred the mixture until the pieces dissolved in a thick, dark mush that I poured into several buckets and emptied in a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the basin, I waited until it had coagulated, dried it in the oven, ground it, and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, milk, and eggs, as well as a bit of margarine, kneading all the ingredients together. I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies who came to visit, though Giuseppe and I also ate them. Francesca Soavi was the second victim. She received the same treatment. Cianciulli's third and final victim was the widow Virginia Cacioppo. According to Cianciulli's statement, she ended up in the pot like the other 2. Her flesh was fat and white. When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I was able to make some most acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbors and acquaintances. The cakes, too, were better. That woman was really sweet. She was sentenced to 30 years and 3 years in a criminal asylum.